welcome, Bianca. Thank you for joining me today. I would love for you to just start off by telling us a little bit about Bob, Books Over Bombs, and how you got started with it all.
Okay, cool. Well, Books Over Bombs, the Bob Foundation, we try to raise awareness and funds for the education of kids living in refugee camps. Half our mission is awareness, because what we are trying to do is we want to highlight something that I believe we've forgotten, and that's the children of Syria. I feel that because there's so much going on in the world, if it's not current enough or it's not heart-wrenching enough, it's just not going to be shown. And at the end of the day, these kids are still left to pick up the pieces. So for me, number one is to create awareness, to let people know what's going on, but to do it in a way that doesn't guilt people. Over the last 15 years, we've just seen so much sadness. And with that sadness has been, the type of images we keep seeing where it's sort of guilt-inducing images to get you to throw your money at kids and think that that's going to solve the problem, but it's not. And when you see those images over and over again, you almost become desensitized to it. Because you're like, well, the situation is so big, it's only getting worse, so what could I possibly do about it? So then you cut yourself off. So for me, I believe that if we change it and we start showing images of hope, and we start sharing success stories, and we start showing how resilient these kids are, which they truly are, people are going to be more inspired to want to help. They're going to be more inspired by their stories. They're not going to feel so weighed down of the heaviness of all that negative energy. Instead, they're going to be inspired to want to help, hopefully want to help themselves.
Yeah, I love that approach. Because in the work that I do, it's that same thing. Like, I'm trying to raise my own vibration and bring positive energy into the work that I do, in the hope that that kind of spreads to other people. And I love what you're saying about how the media kind of bombards us with all these images. And to be honest, I personally don't really watch television because of that, because it's so much. There's so much suffering and so much pain. And I mean, at the same time, I want to be aware that these things are going on, but the approach that you're taking, it makes sense. Like, for me, it makes sense, because you're doing it in a way that it highlights the positive parts of a terrible situation, and that's only going to encourage more of that same kind of energy, which is brilliant. I just had to throw that in because I love that approach. I think it's really powerful.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, because I feel that, it'll also empower the kids as well. When we start to empower them, they themselves will start to feel empowered and want to help themselves. A great way to sort of spread that awareness is through fashion. And for me, I felt that, creating T-shirts that have really messages of either hope, peace, or love. Even if somebody is walking past on the street, indirectly, subconsciously, maybe they're absorbing that message as well, and it, changes their mood. Just to sort of change the way people see what we do, which is the charity industry.
So tell me about the T-shirts, because you're wearing one now. So, like, what are they made of, and how many types are there, and what does the money from the T-shirts go to?
Okay, awesome. So for me, I felt it was a big part. Like, I came up with a concept I called #responsible fashion, and I felt that I wanted to not only just create a brand myself, but to encourage fashion labels who didn't have access, or who wanted to make a difference but didn't know how, as part of their corporate social responsibility, to come on board with us. So #responsible fashion refers to, a brand that's either environmentally or socially responsible. And because I had started this, I felt that, well, it's, really important that we be both. And I found a really great company who we first started working with, called Human Revolution Clothing, an awesome company in Hawaii. and their clothing is 100% organic cotton, certified fair trade, and GMO free. And I saw them, I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is exactly what we need, because you need something that was born from the beginning to the end with love. You don't want to be selling a T-shirt that, people were unhappy making. You want to make sure that everybody was happy from the beginning of the production all the way to the end, that it has a positive effect straight through. So the more I started working, the more I started realizing I need to associate myself with brands who are already on that level. Like I would love to sort of, offer the opportunity for brands who aren't, who would like to join us. But there's 2 that we're currently working with, and one would be another T-shirt that we have coming out by a company in India called No Nasties. Mm-hmm. Same thing, GMO-free, certified fair trade, 100% organic cotton. Yeah. This is our inaugural tee design, Love Another Fighter. I hope to be able to release another 3 more designs. They're unisex, so they're just basically for anybody. For me personally, I'm a bit of a tomboy myself, so I like this sort of T-shirt streetwear, and I really want to appeal to a generation like myself who want to make a difference and who want to make a stand, and who would be proud to wear something that, represents nothing controversial, but just something that represents, like, the oneness that we are, humanity.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I love how you're kind of bringing fashion together with the work that you're doing as well, and kind of reaching, like you said, that generation of people who want to make a stand, and by wearing something is a way that they can. And it's such a powerful way through fashion. I mean, we get dressed every day, and it's nice that, one, it makes the person who's dressing themselves become more conscious, because they just know, like, there's a story behind the thing that they're wearing, and then it also carries that message out into the world as well. So it's a really powerful way, I believe, of spreading the message. And have you found that? Have you found people are really jumping on board? And
people have become really, really excited about it, I have to admit. They sort of like the catchy the catchiness of the line and the story behind the T-shirt. And with every T-shirt that we sell, it comes up with I call it a post tag. So we teamed up with a company in England called Postcards for Peace. Mm-hmm. And instead of a traditional hang tag, because I don't like wasting paper, and I really didn't want to have a hang tag, we decided we'll give it a second life, and we'll turn it into a postcard. Mm-hmm. So our customers get to write a handwritten message of love, peace, or some form of encouragement to the kids, just to let them know that we haven't forgot about you, and even though we're on the other side of the world, we still love you and we're still thinking about you. Mm-hmm. And so these messages will then get given to the schools, and the teachers will be able to read them out to the kids, and we're getting a great response. People are so excited about that. It's almost like, I got my T-shirt, but then it takes their purchase experience that one step further by allowing them to see the message.
Yeah, it makes it a lot more personal, I think, because it's very, we can kind of throw our money over and hope that it kind of reaches the people that need it, but to know that you can then actually send a personal message to a kid who's struggling, and knowing that you're helping them at that time, like it's just beautiful. I think it's an amazing way for the people who purchase the things from you in order to give back to those kids. It's a great way for them to feel more connected to them as well, in a much more personal way.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping. That's what we're hoping to achieve, and we hope people will, really appreciate that special touch that we added. And 100% of the profits all go towards the education of kids. So it goes towards paying for their school fees, stationery, books, and uniforms. So those are the 4 things that we support. Of course, if there's additional requirements, for example, it was a very cold winter this past winter, and our kids live in the camps of Becker Valley. So there's a lot of them live in the tented settlements. So the the snowstorms were just hitting them day after day. And so eventually they closed the school down to be able to accommodate the families to be able to stay there. So what they needed was heaters for the classrooms and things like that. And you and I both know how hard it is to concentrate when you're cold.
Yes,
So simple things that we would also try and accommodate and think about.
yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to kind of just go back a little bit in the story. And was there a moment where this idea came to you? Like, was there something you saw on TV or in the news or something that just made you think, like, I've got to do something here, like I've got to help?
There was that eureka moment, and it was quite surreal, to be honest. It was in July of last year. It was during Ramadan, I remember, and I was on holiday, and there was this video that had gone viral of a Lebanese, or it was a video in Lebanon of a Syrian refugee boy being bullied by a Lebanese boy that was much younger than him. He looked like he could have been around 4 or 5 years old, and the Syrian refugee child was around 7 or 8. He was much older. And anyway, in this video, he was being taunted by this little child, and the adult holding the video camera was the one that was giving the little one instructions to hit the other child with a stick. And it was such a sad video because obviously there's this child that's crying. He has nobody to protect him. He's begging the person who's filming the video, the little boy, to please stop. And the little child as well was confused because he can see that this child is in distress.
Yeah.
So he keeps hesitating and he keeps looking back at the camera to the adult, and the adult keeps telling him to do it. And so he's doing it, but you can see that he knows intrinsically that this is the wrong thing. And so it was sad because one child was being taken advantage of, and it was even more sad because another one was being taught to hate. And for me, that broke me. As a mum, that broke me. All I wanted to do was just go, rush in and pick him up and just hold him. And I couldn't do that. And I thought, well, it was that moment where I was sick of it. I was sick of the world. I thought, if this can happen, if you can just, if an adult could do that to a child, honestly, I wanted to become a unicorn then and there because I was so embarrassed to be a human being. Yeah. So embarrassed. And it was in that moment of my tears in the corner of the bed, crying, why did the idea of education come in my head? And it sort of like dawned on me that had he been in school, this might not have happened because school's a place of safety. So had he had access to a school, he might not have been put in that position. And education is sort of the beginning of everything, where you educate children to love and not to hate, but you also educate, kids to, become more loving towards each other. It's not just your basic needs of your maths, your science, your English. It's much more, and you establish that relationship with your teacher, and you're in an environment with other kids. It's a healing process. It's that one bit of normalcy that you can add to your life. They've gone through so much, and just to have that one moment where they can just be a kid, where they can just play and be around other kids. And be around kids who have gone through the same thing as them as well, and also it'll allow, if you've got a teacher involved, they'll be able to see, okay, this child is exhibiting symptoms of PTSD, maybe he needs to see a psychologist. This child requires a little bit extra help than most, maybe he needs to, go somewhere else. So it also is a place for them to heal as well. So that's how the idea of education came into my head. But of course, I was just like, well, what do I know? Who do I know? How do I get there? So thankfully, through a very good friend of mine in Dubai, she put me into contact with a small foundation called Kayani Foundation, and they actually specialized with working with children residing in Bekaa Valley in Lebanon, which is where the tented settlements are. And Kayani Foundation have 3 schools at the moment, with over 1,200 kids. They're opening their 4th one in collaboration with Malala Foundation, which is actually specifically for girls aged between 14 and 16, which is at the moment quite a high risk age, particularly because of poverty and child marriage. These young girls aren't getting access to education, and so it's a great initiative that was started by Malala. So we're hoping that working together with them, we can be able to see some really big changes come through as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds amazing. So they're the kids that you're helping specifically are the ones that are in these camps here. Yeah, so everything that, the money for the T-shirts and everything, it goes directly to these kids to pay for their education there. Yeah, which is incredible. And so how do you manage, like, doing all of this, having your own family to take care of as well, and everything else that comes with life? Like, what's that passion? What's the drive? What keeps you going?
It's the kids. It's that motherly instinct, that mama bear instinct that you just want to protect. And that is what motivates me, because every time I look at my daughter, she's going to be 5 soon, I see their little faces as well, and it's just like, I have to do something. I have to help them. I think as an adult, I feel that it's our responsibility to make sure that every child in this world is safe, and they're just as much as part of me as any other child. I don't need to be the same race as them. I don't need to be the same religion as them. I don't need to be the same nationality as them to be able to want to help. And that's a big message I want to send across as well, because, we always try to help with what we can affiliate with, but at the end of the day, if we just peel back the layers, we're all human beings, and we're adults, and adults need to look after kids.
Yeah. And I can see, like, just, even through what we're talking about now, there is this, like, underlying kind of sense that we're all one, like we're all one, once you peel back all those layers, we're not, our races and our, everything else, where we're from or whatever, we're all one, and we all need to do our part to help the people that are in need, especially the kids, because they're probably the most vulnerable population, and they're the ones that need to be taken care of the most.
Exactly. And we're going to end that cycle of hate as well, you know what I mean? The reason there's such horrible things going on in this world is because those people that are committing those crimes were children as well, and they were forgotten children. And we want to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, that the cycle doesn't continue.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think, what you're doing is making a massive impact, and I'm sure, there's more to come. So what is your big vision for the Bob Foundation?
My ultimate vision would be, I would love for the war, hopefully when the war ends, and I really hope that's going to be soon, and it's safe for people to move back. Syria needs to start again, and I want to be a part of that, and I want to be able to build after-school centers where kids can hang out after school, instead of getting up to mischief or anything like that. They have free access to tutoring, they have access to, art classes, dance classes, music classes, anything and everything that will get them a way to be able to heal. I think art heals a lot, and it gives them a way to express themselves. And if they can just be put in an environment where, they feel safe in, and they can just express themselves, and I would love to be able to, have after school centers dedicated to that, providing different sorts of courses and weekend workshops and things like that.
Yeah, nice. Amazing. So I would love for you to just tell us now how we can help. Like, how can we get involved? What's your website? Where do we need to visit in order to do our part as well?
Okay, awesome. So our website is booksoverbombs.org. Books Over Bombs meaning that, education over war. You know, you're making a stand against war and you're choosing education. So that's why I came up with the term Books Over Bombs. And we have our T-shirts, and we have a bob bag, and as I mentioned earlier, we're going to have 3 more designs coming soon. Yeah. So if you just pop over to our website, you'll be able to have a look at our shop. You'll also be able to donate and just support us in any way. We've got all our social media links on there as well. We've got Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, and feel free to share our message, because even if you can't purchase something, half of what we're trying to do is spread awareness. So if you can just spread our message through, share our blog articles, and just get people talking about it using our hashtag Books Over Bombs, then that's even more amazing for us as well.
Yeah, incredible. And that's what I hope, you know, for this interview now, is that it reaches as many people as possible, and it also helps to carry your message and spread the word, because I've been following you for a while now on Instagram. I don't even know how I came across you, but I guess just I don't know, we were meant to kind of come together and help each other. And, you know, I'm just so happy to be able to share this message. And I just love the work that you're doing. I think it's incredible. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And that means a lot to me to hear that, because sometimes when you're doing this on your own, you always want to second guess yourself and ask, am I doing the right thing? You know, who am I to, you know, try and tackle this? And when people like you, absolute strangers, approach me and let me know that I'm doing a good job, that means the world to me, because it gives me that extra motivation to keep pushing on.
Yeah, well, I'm so excited to see what the future holds, and what is going to become, and what's going to change, and you know, what's going to come about because of the work that you're doing. So I want to thank you so much for joining me for this interview today. And I look forward to following your journey, and I'll put all the links below this video so that anybody who's watching this can head to your website and get involved as well. So
awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.